Good morning, and welcome to Story Time. Thank you so much for joining me today. I am just realizing that I had not cued the sound, but wait, yeah, thank you so much for joining in. Right on brand, right on brand. Something seems to happen every single time. Thank you so much for joining me, and I am glad that we are here together indeed. Thank you so much for joining in. I hope that you had a lovely weekend. I did. Birthday weekend, relaxed, rested, and definitely exactly what I wanted it to be. Thank you so much for joining in Story Time today. Glad you're here with us, and I hope that you're ready for today's story. A slight change in today's story. Like the Moon Loves the Sky from Hena Khan will instead come tomorrow, but today we are going to be bringing back another favorite, and this one is called What is Love? This one is written by Mark Barnett and illustrations by Carson Ellis. And of course, we're reading it with permission of Chronicle Books of San Francisco. So get ready for this one. And yes, let's get ready to answer this big question, this very profound question. What is love? Thank you so much for joining in today, and glad that you are here with me. Welcome to Story Time. Thank you indeed. Happy Monday wherever you are. And yes, I really thought I had the sound on, but I did not yet. But thank you for being here with us. Thank you for joining in this morning. Please, as always, let us know where you're joining in from and who is joining in with you, if anybody else. Thank you so much for joining in Story Time. Another great book awaits, and today too, for special mention, we do have another one by Hena Khan, and this one is called Under My Hijab. And yeah, if you have not checked out this one, please find it at your local libraries and of course your local bookstores. And this one is from Lee and Law Books. Thank you so much for joining in Story Time, and welcome. Who is here with us today? Well, let us see. Thank you so much for joining in, and good morning to you, Jessica. How are you doing? And of course, Ali Amin. Good to see you here live. Thank you so much for joining in today on Story Time. Absolutely appreciate you. Thank you for being here, joining us out in Washington. Is it cold yet out in Washington? Thank you so much for being here with us. Absolutely appreciate you. Good morning one more time, Ali Amin, and of course, Jessica. Thank you so much for joining us on Story Time. Good morning to you, Amanda. Where's say good morning from Sarah and Nathan? Yes, good morning to you in sunny Illinois. Oh, so jealous. Enjoy it. It is raining today out here in Oakland and promises to be rain throughout the day. I haven't looked at the exact times, but we'll be having rain on and off. Thank you so much for joining in. Happy Monday indeed. I hope that the sound cue is the worst thing that happens to you today. And everything just gets better from now. Oh, it is already feeling better from now. Thank you so much for joining in Story Time. Appreciate you. Thank you. It was a good one. And yeah, happy birthday to you too. Happy birthday week to you. Thank you so much for joining us. Good morning out in sunny Illinois. Yes, we're hoping for a sunny rest of the day. Thank you so much for joining us on Story Time. Sarah and Nathan, and of course Amanda out in sunny Illinois. Thank you for joining us today, and we will be reading What is Love? This one from Mark Barnett and Carson Ellis, and of course Chronicle Books of San Francisco. A big good morning to you all. Thank you so much for joining us today. Good morning. How are you doing, Castle King? How are you today? Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to Story Time, and I hope that we see you on many more. Where in California are you joining us from? Thank you so much. We're in Oakland right here. Thank you so much for joining in Story Time. Good to see you, Castle King. And yes, we hope that we see you on many more Story Times. Thank you for being here with us. Good morning to you. Good morning, Soraya. How are you, sweetheart? Thank you so much for joining us on Story Time today. I hope that you have a lovely rest of the day. But before that, of course, we do have a book to read together, and I hope that you enjoy it. Sharon Lungo, good morning to you. I hope that you had a great weekend, and of course, I hope that you have a wonderful week ahead. Thank you so much for joining us on Story Time. Excited to be here And yes, Sound Snafu and all, I am happy to be here with you all. Thank you so much for joining in Story Time. What is love coming up? And like I mentioned, a slight change. We're supposed to be reading Like the Moon Loves the Sky, but just for flow and a few tweaks behind here, so I've had to move that one to tomorrow. So thank you so much for joining in Story Time. Glad that you are here with me today. And we'll get started with our story very, very shortly. And remember to our special mention, another one from Hena Khan. And this one is called Under My Hijab. Find it at your local libraries. Find it where you find books. Thank you so much for joining in Story Time, and let's get ready, get comfortable, get cozy as we'll be getting started with our story very, very shortly. Thank you so much for joining me today on Story Time.
Hey, this is Timothy Goodspeed of the Soapbox Salute. I'm the one who wrote Story Time's theme song. If you'd like to hear more of my protest folk music, you can check out the links below on Instagram or at my website. You are watching Story Time with Mr. Lamada.
Welcome back indeed. Thank you. And of course, big good morning, big thank yous as always to Timothy Dixon of the Soapbox Salute. Thank you so much for that wonderful music, of course, but also for a good friend, the good friend that you are. Thank you so much for joining in Story Time today. What is love? This one by Mark Barnett, illustrations by Carson Ellis. And we're reading this one with permission of Chronicle Books of San Francisco. Are you ready? All right, here we go. Some big questions to be answered today. How about that spread? What's happening in there? All right. What is love? This one is written by Mark Barnett, illustrations by Carson Ellis. And we're reading this one with permission of Chronicle Books of San Francisco. When I was a boy, in the garden out front of the house where we lived, I asked my grandmother, "What is love?" My grandmother was old. I thought she would know. Grandmothers know everything, don't they? When I was a boy, in the garden out front of the house we lived, I asked my grandmother, "What is love?" My grandma was old. I thought she would know. Who's that person that you go to when you have questions? She picked me up in her arms and said, "I can't answer that." "Who can?" I asked. "If you go out in the world, you might find an answer." Who can answer? I asked. Who can tell me that? If you go out into the world, you might find an answer. And so the journey begins. So I went. No. I asked the fisherman, "What is love?" The fisherman smiled. "Love is a fish." "A fish?" I said. Do you think love is a fish? Love is a fish. A fish? I said. Are you sure? It glimmers and splashes just out of reach. And the day that you catch it, if you know what you're doing, you give it a kiss and throw it back into the sea. "But I don't like fish," I said. "They're slimy and taste bad. And they have creepy eyes." The fisherman sighed. "Ah, you do not understand." Guess I don't. I guess I don't understand. I walked on and I asked the actor this time, "What is love?" The actor smiled. "Love is applause." Applause? It's the hoots of the crowd, the sound of their hands. You stand in the footlights while they all scream your name. Sometimes they throw flowers. At that moment, you know you exist. You are seen. But the crowd leaves, I said. They go home. The actor sighed. Ah, you do not understand. What is love? Oh my. I asked the cat, "What is love?" The cat smiled. "Love is the night." The night, I said. That sounded all right. The night, I said. That sounded all right. Is that what love is to you? But before the cat could explain, a dog chased it away. "Wait," I said. "Stop. What is love?" The dog looked back and said, "This." Oh. Big question we're answering today. I asked the carpenter, "What is love?" The carpenter smiled. "Love is a house." A house? You hammer and saw and arrange all the planks. It wobbles and creaks and you alter your plans. But in the end, the thing stands and you live in it. According to the carpenter, that is love. Do you think that is love? I said, "I'm not allowed to use hammers. Once I busted my thumb." Oh, ouch. That could hurt. "I don't mean a real hammer. I'm not talking about thumbs. It got busted real bad." The carpenter sighed. "Ah, you do not understand." I guess I don't. Do you think love is a house like the carpenter? The farmer told me love is a seed. The soldier told me love is a blade. The soldier told me love is a horse. But the cart driver said, "No, it's a donkey." So what is love? A sports car, a donut, a lizard, a ring, the first snow of winter, a maypole in summer, a grizzly bear, this pebble right here. These are all things people told me love is. Do you think any of those is what love is? What is love? What would your answer be? Is it a sports car, a donut, a lizard, a ring, the first snow of winter, a maypole in summer, a grizzly bear, this pebble right here? Is it? What is love to you? I asked the poet, "What is love?" The poet smiled. "Sit down and I will tell you," he said. "A list so long it goes on for pages." I didn't have time to listen to that. Oh, poet. "Yes, I will tell you. Sit down and I will tell you," he said. "A list so long it goes on for pages." Oh my. But I didn't have time to listen to that. goodness. Wait, said the poet. I've not answered your question. You sure haven't, I said. The poet shouted at me. You do not understand. No, I don't. What is love? And so one day I returned to the house where we lived. And so one day, after searching all over the world, I returned to the house where we lived. The lights were all on. I smelled dinner cooking. My dog barked gladly at me from a window upstairs. I took off my shoes. I stood in the garden. I curled my toes so they dug into the dirt. I sighed. I didn't hear my grandmother come up behind me. I got home. The lights were all on. I smelled dinner cooking. My dog barked gladly at me from a window upstairs. I took off my shoes and I stood in the garden. I curled my toes so they dug into the dirt, and I sighed. I didn't hear my grandmother come up behind me. Finally, she said, you have come back. She was older. I was taller. She asked me, did you answer your question? Did you answer your question? Oh, finally, she said, you have come back. She was older. I was taller. She asked me, did you answer your question? I picked her up in my arms. I smiled. I said, yes. I picked her up in my arms. I smiled. And I said, yes, I did answer my question. And that is the end of our story for today. That was What is Love? This one coming to you from Mark Barnett and Carson Ellis, and of course, Chronicle Books of San Francisco. Join me on the other side of this very short break when we come back for more story time.
How you doing? This is Jonathan Marshall. I'm author of the books I'll Be Right There, Desert Rain Food, and also on the way, Me and My Kazoo at the Zoo. And you're here with Storytime with Mr. Lamata.
Oh, yes, you're here with Story Time. Thank you so much for joining in today. I hope you enjoyed the book that we had for you today with that very big question. And I hope that it helps you ponder your own answers, your own thoughts on the question, what is love? Thank you so much for joining in Story Time. And yeah, it's just such a powerful book, such a wonderful message. Absolutely resonates. Thank you so much indeed for joining in Story Time today. Absolutely appreciate you. I hope that you enjoyed it. Please join me again tomorrow when we're back for Like the Moon Loves the Sky. This one will be coming to you from Hena Khan, and we'll be bringing it here to Story Time. So join me for that tomorrow. But again, special mention today is another book from Hena Khan, and this one is called Under My Hijab. And this one is from Lee and Low Books. Hena Khan and Aliyah Jalil wrote this one. Thank you so much for joining us on Story Time, and I hope indeed that you do have a wonderful day today. Let us see one more time who was with us this morning. Pamela Courtney, Braylon and Chad, you made it. Thank you so much for being here out in Natchitoches, Louisiana, and you're saying it's already 75 degrees out there this morning. Oh my goodness. I wonder what the highest will be the rest of the day. Thank you so much for joining in. Please do find ways to stay cool. Hopefully you have some good ice cream out there or something like that. Thank you so much for joining in Story Time. Absolutely appreciate you. And to everybody that joined in Story Time today live, or indeed if you're joining us for the recordings later on, we thank you, we love you, and we appreciate you. Please keep supporting us. Please keep coming back so we can read more stories together. And of course, send us your recommendations so we can bring them here to Storytime. Thank you so much to everybody that has sent in their recommendations already. We are looking at them and looking into getting permission so that we can read them here on Storytime. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. Absolutely appreciate you. Beautiful, beautiful book indeed. Absolutely, Pamela Courtney, couldn't agree with you more. Thank you so much for joining us on Storytime. Castle King, I'm glad you were here with us. I hope you enjoyed the story, and we hope to see you again tomorrow for more Storytime. Thank you so much for joining us today. Soraya, thank you for joining us. And of course, Sharon Lungo, right here in Oakland. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope that you have a wonderful rest of the day. Good morning to you one more time, Sarah and Nathan. Thank you for joining us on Storytime. Absolutely appreciate you. Happy Monday, you say to everybody. Well, happy Monday to you too. And yes, indeed, hopefully that sound cue is the only trouble we face today. Thank you so much for joining in, and wishing you as well a wonderful and better day ahead for sure. Thank you so much for joining in, and it was a great weekend. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Absolutely appreciate you. Amanda West, Sarah, and Nathan, thank you. Coming out from sunny Illinois today. Enjoy your day. Jessica and Ali Amin out in Washington, have yourselves a wonderful rest of the day. Thank you for joining us for Storytime today, and I hope that as we go through the day, we ponder this question: what is love? This one came to you from Mark Barnett and Carson Ellis. And of course, we were reading it with permission of Chronicle Books of San Francisco. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. Pamela Courtney, it was yesterday. Thank you so much. Still appreciate it. You did not miss it by much. And we were not here too, so no way of really knowing. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. Absolutely appreciate you. Braylon and Chad, I hope that you have a wonderful rest of the day. This has been Storytime for today. This has been Storytime for this wonderful Monday morning, and we do have more stories to come this week. So please make a date with us. Be sure to join us. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime today. Thank you, Soraya and Sharon Lungo. Thank you. Appreciate you too. Thank you so much for being here with us on Storytime. To everybody that joined in today, I just want to say big hugs to you. Thank you for joining us on Storytime. Please remember, today is November 7th. Tomorrow is the 8th. You know what it is. It is election day. If you're able to vote, please vote. Make your voice count. Let your voice be heard. Vote, vote, vote. It's not too late. You can always go to the polling station and do your civic duty out there. So please, please, please do go there and yes, indeed, cast your vote if you're able. And if not, please, there are organizations, there are other ways that we can help to make our voice heard. There are organizations that need you. There's canvassing that needs to happen. There's calling, phone banking for candidates and different motions, things that are on the ballot pages this year. So there's so much that we can do, that we can still do. So go out there. Let's play our part. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime, and drop off that ballot. Do not forget. If you've not started yet, it will take you a bit of time. Get started now. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. Pamela Courtney, I will be checking out that for sure. Thank you so much for sharing. Everybody that joined in Storytime today, thank you, thank you, thank you. What is love? Well, Storytime here says love is reading books with you together. Yes, that is what love is. What is love to you? Thank you so much for joining in, everybody. Have yourselves a wonderful day. Much love from me. And if you're a fan like me, you know Black Panther is out. It is out, and I'm seeing it this Friday. I am excited to go and see it, and I hope that you get a chance to do that. Thank you so much for joining us on Storytime. Much love from me, and I will see you again tomorrow for more Storytime. Bye-bye.
Story time with Mr. Lamada. He will be starting soon. Oh, time with Mr. Lamada, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't leave lonely, won't you start all the reading? I just can't wait to be hearing story time with Mr. Lamada. He will be starting soon. Oh, story time with Mr. Lamada, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't leave lonely, won't you start all the reading? I just can't wait to be hearing I'm with Mr. Lamada. He will be starting soon. Oh, story time with Mr. Lamada, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't live lonely, won't you start all the reading? We just can't wait to be hearing. Brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't live lonely, won't you start all the reading? We just can't wait to be hearing